Hey, Crystal Levanway here in Phoenix. Happy Friday. I got my happy face mug going. Yesterday I attended a short sale roundtable meeting. It was really interesting. We had a guest speaker who was a loss mitigation manager from a bank. Very brave on his part to come to this meeting because there's a love-hate relationship between real estate agents and loss mitigation people, let me tell you. But it was nice to hear things from his point of view. And he's pretty high up on the ladder, so he had kind of the helicopter view of everything. It was good to share that. First, he states that his job at the bank is to protect the bank's assets. If he can help the clients who are in a distressed situation in the process, he will. But his primary objective is to protect the assets of the bank. And so when he works with these distressed clients, he has like kind of a checklist he goes through. First, he determines if there's a true hardship. If there is, he'll look first at a forbearance program, which is like a short-term relief. If that doesn't work, then he'll look at loan modification, either through the Make It Home Affordable program or a traditional loan modification. As the news has reported, those are harder and harder to get through. The banks are not having a lot of success in getting those loan mods done. So if he can't do a loan mod, he may look at a deed in lieu of foreclosure. I mention it only because a lot of people ask about them, but they're very rare. Banks are put at a disadvantage when they grant those. So he'll only look at it if the house has been on the market for 90 days or more, and he said they only do them in rare cases. So that probably won't work, but I mention that only because it's on the list. So the next thing will be a short sale, and the banks really do prefer that because at the end of the short sale, even though they've taken a loss, they don't own the home. With a foreclosure, they own the home, and then they've got to sell it. So that just increases the amount of money they are putting out. And again, the banks lose more money. So that was kind of his step-by-step checklist that he goes through. But here's where it got kind of interesting. Even though he does have some empathy for people who are in a true hardship situation, in his mind, you signed up for this loan, you owe us this money, and I'm going to do what I can to get as much money out of you as I can. I'll help you if I can, but I want my money. If you are trying to use this situation for your own personal gain, and you're not being honest, then he made no bones about the fact that he will go to the ends of the earth to make you pay. He gave a couple of examples. One is the buy and bail, where a person owns a home where they're upside down in that house. They go and buy a second home, and then they let the first home go into foreclosure. It's actually fraud, and you can go to jail for it. But if the bank finds out, and they will come after you for the loss. You will have no protection, and they will make your life a living hell. The other example he gave was a non-arm's length transaction where it was a short sale and the buyer was the father of the seller. It wasn't disclosed. They were trying to do this under the table. The dad was going to buy the house in a short sale and then let the daughter live there. Again, that's kind of a fraudulent situation. You could be facing legal problems as well as financial problems because the bank will find out. If you're trying to do that, you need to disclose it to the bank, and some banks are okay with it, but a lot of banks are not. So more and more banks are making you sign an arm's length transaction disclosure to make sure that everything's above board. You need to make sure you're telling the truth, or else you're going to be in some hot water. So anyway, it was an interesting meeting. There wasn't a lot of news shared about the short sale process as far as it goes. I mean, I've done them, and a lot of people in the room know how they work, but just the looking at it from a different perspective was really, really helpful. He did emphasize that the big banks are going to be moving really slowly as they've cut back on their staff. He works for a smaller bank, so they're able to turn this stuff around quicker. So a lot of patience is required on these things as well. But all in all, good information. If you have any questions about loss mitigation, shoot me an email at kristen@hereinphoenix.com. I'd love to hear from you, even if you're a loss mitigation person, and make it a great day.